Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome. We are going to do a fun reading. We are going to do a ridiculous question reading. So the first ridiculous question is, what's the fastest way for you to get rich right now? And so you have this workaholic card. It says having a strong work ethic and giving 110% at all times. It says hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So I think working, obviously. You also have a spell work card. It says use money magic spells or your manifesting power is strong. So I think it would be a great time for you also to be manifesting. Before I started the reading, I was hearing like, keep doing what you're doing. So, if you're wanting to become successful and you're working on like a side project or a side hustle or something, I would just keep doing what you are doing at this time, because I think that whatever you're doing, it could be working. You have the Page of Cups, the Ace of Cups, and the Knight of Pentacles. Pretty good. The Knight of Pentacles to me sometimes represents. Sorry, I'm on the wrong camera as always. The Knight of Pentacles to me can sometimes represent holding back a little bit. So I think that loosening up and maybe trying some crazy things like I'm doing right now with this reading, right? Maybe trying something different or trying something you've never done before definitely could be a faster way to increase your finances. I am getting especially for those of you that have a side hustle or that are trying to, make money on the side or, whatever the case may be. I think that for those of you that are doing something like that, like maybe you have a YouTube channel or whatever, I think that kind of trying new things or experimenting with that Knight of Pentacles would be very helpful. You have the Page of Cups, and so the Page of Cups tells me that you already have your eye on something that could bring in a lot of abundance. I think you already have your eye on something that could lead to a lot of success. He's looking at that fish in that cup there, and really we don't know if that fish exists or not. It might be part of his imagination. It might be his dream. Some people say that it's his pet. We have no freaking clue. And I feel that, but intuitively, I feel like that you already have your eye on something like work-wise that could really increase your finances. And I would move towards whatever that is. I would put in the work if you're not already. Again, I get the intuitive feeling that some of you have either already have worked on something and maybe you've stopped and you need to start again, or you currently are working on something that will greatly increase your abundance here. You have the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups is about your emotions overflowing, being really happy. I kind of feel that there's something that you could be doing if you're not already that you could do endlessly. Like that you could, get started on, and it's almost like you could work nonstop on it. Again, I definitely don't recommend it. I think we, as humans, we need sleep. We need to take a break. We also, if you're only working and you're not having fun, as someone who has done it before, I can tell you that when I stopped having fun and stopped hanging out with friends, my money went straight down the tube. So, I can tell you right now that if you're not filling up your fun bucket, then you're going to have a hard time. But I do feel that finding something that you could do endlessly, but you don't because you do things in balance, right? Finding that thing where you really get into the flow is going to be like the secret to your success here with the Ace of Cups. So I almost feel like there is something that if you're not already doing that you could do. I always give the example of these readings. Some days I start these readings, I'm super tired, but by the end of the readings, I have a ton of energy. It gives me, I channel from source. So I don't use any of my own energy to do this, and I always feel better after I do these readings. So can you find something like that? You have the Knight of Pentacles. Again, I kind of feel like doing things in different ways. And, he is kind of the card of, overthinking somewhat, because he could easily plant seeds in those fields behind him, but he's being too cautious. He's not taking big enough risks. So I think that maybe taking some bigger risks, but we're not talking about, stupid risk here. We're talking about doing these readings is a risk. If I do a set of readings that doesn't do well, for example, on YouTube, then, it kind of takes a couple weeks for me to get the momentum back, because YouTube, their algorithm, it's like if you don't do well on a set of readings, it hurts the rest of your readings, right? So, again, I'm taking a small risk to do these readings, not really a big deal. And what I would say here is are there small risks that you could take that really could have a big payoff? And I think that's where you could get rich here, Scorpio. So let's see what is going on here. I think you need more dreaming time as well with that Page of Cups. You have the Six of Swords clarifying the Page of Cups. So I definitely feel you're like moving on from one thing, or you have a strong desire. I keep getting side hustle vibes here. So it's like maybe some of you want a podcast or a YouTube channel or some sort of side hustle. And I feel for a lot of you that you could be looking for something else to do. The woman and the child in this boat, they're normally going to calmer shores. They're doing something that brings a better flow into their life, or they're doing something that doesn't create so much chaos in their life. With the Ace of Cups, you have the Queen of Pentacles here. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles is all about your resources and being resourceful. So the Queen of Pentacles sometimes I feel says, there might be some obstacles in the way for you to do whatever you're thinking about. Like maybe you're thinking about starting a business or, getting a new career. And it's like maybe you're not exactly qualified, or maybe you don't have the resources necessary. The Queen of Pentacles says, how can you do it anyway? Even if you don't have the resources. Really, you do, but you just haven't looked in the right places. This could say, instead of starting something with money, how can you bootstrap an idea? How can you start it, at the smallest level possible and go from there? And that's what I would be thinking about with that card. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Ace of Swords. Yeah, big victory. I think you taking a risk is going to lead to a big financial victory with the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is a big victory. The Ace of Swords also can represent making a sacrifice. Sometimes with the Ace of Swords, it's like we have to cut one thing out of our lives so that we can have something better. So I feel that for some of you with this and the Six of Swords, that you could be thinking about moving on from one thing and starting something else as far as money is concerned. And the reading is clearly saying that that is going to be very successful for you here, Scorpio. Next, we're going to look at what are your animal guides trying to tell you at this time. You have this dragon and this cheetah. So the dragon is about like your history, or things that you have are like mastering, things that you have mastered as well. And the cheetah says like life is speeding up. Things are starting to move forward faster and faster and faster. So I feel like this dragon card is kind of a little bit talking about your focus and needing to focus on the fact that things are speeding up. So it would probably be a good time for you to get started on, new ideas, new projects, things like that. I also feel like some of you could be working on something that you've already worked on before. I'm pretty sure I've said this to you before in the past that, you are a Scorpio. You could be rebirthing an old idea in a new way. And I think that could bring in some miracles, because your first card here is the Cow Spirit, and it says the miracles are endless. So I think that there are like certain miracles coming in for you. I kind of feel like it's like you have good days and bad days, like most people, like most people do, duh. But I think that your bad days are days where maybe you're a little bit stuck in the past. I think your good days are days where you're thinking more about like your future or things that could be. Like those are the words that are popping into my head, like potential, or the words like could be. I have those words, like something that could be in your life. I think when you think about those things, it could be a person that you're thinking about, like a new person. It could be a new job or something new that you're doing in your life. And I feel that this card is saying the miracles that are going to come into your life are those good days. I hope that makes sense. That's the message that I'm receiving off of that card. You have this Scare Beetle. It says the magic works through you. So I think, you have that spell work card as your first card, which says use money magic spells to, increase your finances. I think you're in a little bit of a magical time right now where you could be manifesting things faster in your life. I also feel like you have the opportunity to turn something, basically garbage into gold here with this energy. The Scare Beetles, they're like dung beetles. They turn, basically crap into food for their babies, right? And this is a bad analogy, but I think that there is a little bit of garbage in your life that you could turn into a little bit of gold if you put the work into it with this energy. I almost get more of that, like transmutation. You don't have any other cards of transmutation here, but I almost feel like you could be transmuting something like your pain into success or something like that. You have this Dove Spirit. It says be peace. Yeah, the more flow that you could get into, the better. I think that this is true for all the water signs, that the more you can enter into situations that bring you peace or that kind of bring you peace of mind, the better it's going to be for you. So I would be looking for, working on things and spending time with people who bring peace into your life, not the opposite. With the Cow Spirit, you have the Five of Cups. yeah, again, good days and bad days. Exactly what I was thinking. It's like the Five of Cups is about looking on the bright side of life, looking at the solution to the Five of Cups is to be grateful for what you do have and not focus on what you don't have. And I would be focusing more on the energies of the good days. It's almost as if the universe is trying to guide you based, with your good days. I hope that makes sense. But I was getting some sort of weird message about that on that cow spirit, that the cow spirit was saying, like, yeah, sure, it's saying the miracles are endless, but I feel like there's a bigger message going on with that card. I feel like it's saying your good days are trying to guide you, or something like that. With the Scarab Beetle, you have the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is out with the old, in with the new. And so I do feel like there is a new, fresh, positive energy that is surrounding you or trying to surround you. And I would embrace whatever that new energy is. I think that for a lot of you, this could be new ideas. I always look at the Ace of Wands as kind of like that spark of life. The Ace of Wands represents the root going down into the soil from the seed. So it could say that you are planting new seeds in your life, which we have this right here. We have the Knight of Pentacles. He could easily plant seeds in those fields behind him and they will grow. So I think that new directions is kind of where it's at for you. With the Dove Spirit, you have the Seven of Swords. Yeah, I would remove any tricky situations, tricky people, anything that drags you down. I would remove those things from your life. I feel like this reading is saying that your life could be becoming more simple by cutting out the crap and doubling down on the good stuff, Scorpio. And I think that's what your animal guides here are trying to tell you. Next, we are going to look at what unusual skill could you learn at this time to improve your life. And you have this fulfillment card and this protection card. So learning to protect yourself is a skill. And it could be something that leads to more fulfillment. I also feel that another skill is like having fun, doing like happiness, right? We have to do things that make us happy. We don't just get to be happy. So I feel for a lot of you, there could be, certain hobbies or certain activities that you could be focusing on, that you should be focusing on, that would bring more fulfillment into your life. And your very first card here is the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is all about enthusiasm, in following your enthusiasm. The Page of Wands, he just gets excited about something and he starts working on it. It could be a hobby, it could be his business, it could be whatever. But I feel like a skill that you could be developing is learning how to follow your enthusiasm, or even like some people don't know what makes them happy, which is fine. Again, not everybody does. And I feel the Page of Wands is saying that going on the adventure of like learning how to be happy, or what things do bring fulfillment into your life, could be a skill that you're learning that makes you more happy. And right next to it, we have the Empress. We have a lot of abundance here in this top row. The cow, the Page of Wands working towards abundance, and then the Empress. So I think it would be a great time for you to tap into those things. I also think another skill that you could be developing is kind of like looking at the big picture with the High Priestess. She represents intuition, so trusting your intuition, sure. She represents mysteries and secrets, sure. You could look into things that are mysterious, but really, I think that she has these 3 stages of the moon on her crown there, and it kind of represents the fact that she sees the beginning, middle, and end of every situation she enters into before she enters into it. So she is using her powers of visualization to visualize how things will turn out. She's not necessarily doing this intuitively, right? She is doing this because she wants to practice visualization. And so I do feel that visualization could be a really good skill for you to learn, or it could just be something that you could be practicing. And clearly, if visualizing positive things with this Be Peace card will bring in more abundance with going to that Empress. You have the Five of Pentacles. And again, I actually feel there are like 3 things here that you could work on. And the Five of Pentacles would be about not calling attention to your weaknesses. But I really feel that the skill you could be developing here is resourcefulness. Like, instead of immediately thinking, oh, to start this business, I need money, it's like, how can you do it without money? Or how can you come up with a creative way to like bootstrap your business? Or how can you come up with a creative way to get the money that you need to, launch something into the future? And I think that could be something really good. I think that doubling down on your strengths is something that you need to be doing. With the Page of Wands, you have the Seven of Cups. Visualizing, like I said, I think the big skill here, the unusual skill that you could be learning, is visualizing your future success. And yeah, like I said, it's just something that you need to practice. There are plenty of visualization videos for free on YouTube. So even if you have a hard time doing it, there are like guided visualizations that you could be doing. And again, I think this will pay off big time for you here, Scorpio. With the High Priestess, you have the Nine of Swords here. Nine of Swords, like getting out of some sort of funk. I think that is maybe another skill that you could be learning. I do think that being able to get out of a funk is a skill. I used to have pity parties for weeks on end. Like something would happen, it would ruin my entire month, right? So I've really been practicing for a very long time now. Like I can have a bad day for one day and that's it. I can have my pity party for one day. I can think negatively for one day, but that next day I really start forcing myself to start looking at the bright side. I start thinking like what I could be doing instead of not what happened and all that other stuff. And what the really funny thing is it used to be a day, and now it's like I'll have a pity party for like an hour, and I'll immediately have a better idea of what I need to do to like fix a situation or to make something better or whatever the case may be. So I think you need to start practicing like shorter pity parties, right? With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Four of Pentacles here. Yeah, like I said, I think just looking around here and sucking up all the energy of this reading, it's really about resourcefulness. So you focusing on better ways to be resourceful. I don't even think this has to do with necessarily like saving money or limiting yourself. I think this is more about like saying, how can you just be more resourceful in the way that you're doing things? And that's what I would focus on there. Next, we're going to look at what breakthrough you are very close to, but you're not seeing, or what is very close but far. And I think in life we have breakthroughs that could happen very quickly, but we just don't see them, right? And so you have this card that says nothing is yet set in stone. You have this card that says emotions are running high. There is something here about needing to keep an eye on your emotions. Again, there's nothing wrong with being emotional or having emotions, but unless they're consuming a month at a time, right? So I think this is saying keep an eye on your emotions. I also feel like this nothing yet set in stone card is saying that you need to make something like more legitimate in your life. And I think that could lead to a breakthrough. And this could be anything. It's like maybe you're thinking about starting a business, and maybe you need to like set up the social media for the business. It's like by putting it into the world, you are making it legitimate, right? And that's kind of the energy I get here. This could also be in love as well. It's like maybe you need to find a person that will actually make the commitment. When you make the commitment, you're actually putting it into the world. And I think that's what that card is talking about. You have the Empress, the Six of Pentacles, and the Nine of Wands. The Empress is a really good card, of course. Card of abundance, card of taking care of yourself and nurturing yourself as well. I feel like the Empress is almost saying that you have all the talents, gifts, skills, and abilities necessary to be very successful and to cement something in the 3D, to bring an idea or a business or a relationship into this real world. But really, I think the whole entire reading is saying that the trick here is going to be planting those seeds. Six of Pentacles is my card of trying. It's basically my card that says you plant a seed in one direction. If it grows, keep going. If it doesn't grow, do something else. So it's a card of kind of experimentation, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and then continuing to double down on the good stuff. So I think it would be a great time to do that. I also think it would be great for you to be resourceful, like we've already said. But I think the Six of Pentacles resourcefulness is more about moving your resources. But resources don't have to be money. Could be your time, effort, energy, whatever. And I feel like the Six of Pentacles is saying put more resources into the things that are growing and working, and pull away resources from the things that are not. And this might mean that you have to kind of get a bird's eye view here of what's going on in your life. And with the dove, you have a bird showing up right here in your reading. This dove spirit could be saying it's time for you to get like a bird's eye view of your life. Maybe you need to take a day and like journal about your life, or maybe you need to write down what you want your life to look like. And that could help like put things into perspective and allow you to have a breakthrough. I think there's a breakthrough that's very close here. You have the Nine of Wands. Again, rebirth. You're breathing life into something that is old. I really feel this is part of Scorpio's like, karma right now, whatever you want to call it. I think that your job right now is to breathe life into a certain energy or into an area of your life that you want to grow, or something that you want to be successful. And it's probably something you've already done before. I think you're just doing it in a different way. So if this is love, you could be exploring love with a different type of person. If this is money or your business, you could be doing like the same thing kind of, but maybe you're doing it in a different way. With the Empress, you have the Queen of Cups. Yeah, I think this is you right here. So I think you, it doesn't matter what gender you are, I think you are just embracing the energy of the Empress. Embracing this energy of receiving, embracing the energy of being able to create without much effort. The Empress, she can just wave that wand, that scepter in front of her, and the wheat in front of her grows. So it's almost like this reading is saying there are things that come naturally to you. How can you, again, double down on your strengths, Five of Pentacles, and do more of those things? With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Like, I knew that these two were connected right here. So there you go. We've already beaten this horse to death. So I think that for you, it's all about, not hesitating, not overthinking, and also not being too cautious. Take bigger risks towards the things that you want and that you desire. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Knight of Cups here. Yeah, really good. This is a good love reading as well. I mean, there's not like a ton of love here, but if you want it, I think that the Knight of Cups could say there's a knight in shining armor that's coming in for you. I feel the Nine of Wands is definitely about giving love another chance, trying again and being open as well, like opening up to a new person, especially if you've been hurt in the past. That can be very hard it can be very hard to open back up to a person, especially this way, right? Five of Cups, Nine of Swords, down to the Nine of Cups, or the Knight of Cups. This could say that you have some regrets in a past situation that was like a round situation. Nine of Swords, something that repeated too much. And so I feel for a lot of you, this could be about you needing to definitely do something that you've done before, but maybe in a different way. And that could be love. So looks good. Thank you for being here, Scorpio. Definitely let me know what you think of these readings, and let me know if you have any other ridiculous questions you want me to answer if I do these again down below. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your month.